What's up, everyone? Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 11 of albums that are 20 years old in 2025. That's right. We're looking back at the first half of the month, going back 20 years, all the way back to 2005. Kind of think of the 2000s as like recent memory, but it's 20 years ago, man. 20 years have passed already. So we're splitting the month in half for those of you who maybe just be tuning in for the first time. The first 15 days of the month, I'm counting back from the first number 15 all the way to number one, my top 15 favorites from 2005. And then starting on the 16th of this month here in April, I'm going to go to 2015 and I'm going to count down my top 15 favorite albums from that year. So as I've said before, I've gone and looked at what I picked as my favorite albums of the year in both 2005 and 2015 in those respective years on our webzine. We all did that, right? All of us, Steven, Simon, all of us did that back in the day. And just looking at how different my favorites are from that year. So there's some that kind of fell out of favor a little bit, some that rose big time in my estimation, including this one today. This was not in my top 15. This is the third studio album by this French band. It was released on September 27, 2005, recorded at Studio de Milans in Andres and Les Florida in Agen, assuming both those places are in France. Produced by Gabriel Editions for Listenable and Prosthetic Records. I'm talking about From Mars to Sirius, from Gojira. That's right, the great French heavy metal band. This really was the album that really brought them to the kind of ears and attention of the masses. I had not heard of this band at all, but when this album came out, I remember this was sent to me as a promo that year, and I was kind of like, holy moly, who is this Gojira band? Right? First of all, Gojira, Godzilla, Gojira, Godzilla, right? Whatever. Big Godzilla fan. The films going back to when I was a wee little kid. So that name just, of course, grabbed me right away. But then once I started hearing the songs on here from that first song onwards, man, I was a fan from that day on. So, of course, in the band, Joe Duplantier on vocals and guitar, Jean-Michel Labadie on bass, Christian Andro on lead guitar, and Mario Duplantier on drums. We have the two brothers in this band, of course. Right off the bat, man, Ocean Planet, ridiculously good. So heavy, but so groovy. These guys have this way of coming up with these amazing riffs. And, what do you call Gojira? It's metal. It's kind of extreme metal. The vocals are harsh, but they're not like real death growls. They approach it sometimes, but not really. It's more like I don't know. I don't know how you describe this band. I've never been able to lump them into anything. Some of their music is very much in the prog metal style. Some of it is just more straight ahead, maybe technical death metal. It's progressive metal. It's groovy metal. I mean, it's all these things kind of lumped together. It's just Gojira music. It's Gojira metal, right? It's kind of like, like Pantera is their own thing. Gojira doesn't sound anything like Pantera, but they're also their own thing. They're not really thrash, they're not really death metal. They're kind of progressive. They're little bits of genty stuff going on there. But man, the riffs and the little kind of trills and things that they do on the guitars, just like otherworldly sounds. I mean, Ocean Planet is great. You got Backbone and From the Sky, and I love when they do the little instrumentals. They got a unicorn on here. Then you got the killer track Where Dragons Dwell, and they like to go for the longer tracks. Right, there's a whole bunch of 6, 7 minute long songs on here. The Heaviest Matter of the Universe, really, really good. You got Flying Whales, another terrific, terrific track. That's the whale you see on the cover there, right? The Flying Whales. In the Wilderness is another cranker. Again, and the vocals really fit the music. Right? He's got this kind of like pained, like agonizing or agonized a vocal style. And like I said, at times it's harsh, but it's not like, Cannibal Corpse or something like that at all. World to Come is great. The title track from this From Mars 2 series, the two tracks later on, and then you got Global Warming, which is a killer song. And there's a lot of atmosphere in their music as well, which I really like. And they know when to do the quieter passages and come back with those sledgehammer riffs again. There's solos, but they don't go overboard with the solos. The drums are amazing, just heavy-handed, just big grooves. Yeah, it's a really cool band. Their earlier two albums are a little bit more in the extreme metal camp than this one is, and everything going forward. In fact, their most recent album, which has been a couple of years now, that one is very kind of mainstreamy sounding, but it's still really good and really heavy and total Gojira, right? Really, really good. Really dig this a lot. So let's take a look at charts. Of course, only charted in their homeland. How many times do we see bands that put out albums and they don't even chart in their own country? That does happen, right? France, peak position number 44 on the French charts. So yeah, that is my pick for today. From Mars to Sirius, from the mighty Gojira. Let us know what you think of this down in the comments below. Let me switch out of the Prezi so you can see me in. Now you can read my shirt, right? See the guitars in the right place and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let us know what you think of From Mars to Sirius in the comments below. I've seen some of you pick it already, so I know we got fans out there. And also let us know what your pick is today. Pick number 11, down to the top 10 starting tomorrow, right? So tune in tomorrow for that. My number 10 pick. And we'll see you soon here with more stuff. What do we got coming up on the channel? Of course, later today, we do have the UK connection. So we're going to go from Gojira to AOR, melodic rock, classic rock. We're going to show all about the latest releases from Cats in Space, the Night Flight Orchestra, and Nestor. Three bands, current bands that really go for that kind of retro AOR, melodic rock, classic rock, pop sound of the 70s and the 80s. And we're going to talk about these three albums and what we think and who we thought does it better, right? Or who we think does it better. So that's coming up on the UK Connection later on today. We've got tomorrow, I am going to be ranking the albums of Phil Collins and his solo catalog. So he's got 8 solo albums. One of them is like all Motown covers. I'm going to talk about that, but I'm not going to put it as part of the ranking. But otherwise, 7 albums of all original songs. So I'm going to be ranking those. I will discuss the covers album though as well. But so that's coming up tomorrow for those of you who are a fan of Phil's solo catalog. And coming up on Monday, we've got the Hudson Valley Squares. Tuesday, we've got In the Prague Seat. Friday morning at the Funhouse next week. Professor's Picks, Review Crew, ranking the albums of Zebra, all coming up next week. It's going to be a busy week. I've also got probably, I don't think I'm going to get them this weekend. We'll see. I'm kind of busy this weekend, but if I can get one of them out, I will. If not, it'll be during the week. But I'm also going to be doing 2 more installments, picking them up after a while of those 10 albums for the newbie lists, right? So we've done like 10 albums for the newbie, for classic rock, for hard rock, for heavy metal, for progressive metal, for prog rock. So we're going to go, the next 2 installments will be 10 essential albums you need for a newbie to doom metal and to jazz fusion, right? So 10 classics, but more importantly, your entryway point, your starter kit. These are your starter kits for if you've never listened to Doom before, if you've never listened to Fusion before, these are the building blocks. You need these 10 albums for each first, and then you got way other places to go, right? So they may not always be my absolute favorite albums or the best albums or any that sort of thing, but these are the albums you should start with from these bands if you're new to that style of music. So that's all coming up over the next week, right? So you'll get both of those, right? So lots happening. I also have another episode I'm looking to do where I'm going to be talking about my 10 favorite lineups of all time, those 10 bands, right? The lineup of a certain band where every member of the band was so integral to the band, absolutely killer, amazing on their instruments, and like just a absolute drop dead classic lineup. I'm going to pick my 10 favorites of all time, right? Not may not exactly my 10 favorite bands of all time. I'm more going with those lineups that are just like every time, whether I love the band to death or whether I just really like them a lot, but man, they had that one lineup configuration that just is head and shoulders above most others. That's coming up also real soon, so stay tuned for that. And lots more here on the channel. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options all down below. Thanks in advance for all your support. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I'm Pete Pardo. Stay tuned for the UK connection in just a couple hours. We'll see you there. Take care. Bye-bye.